1973 delivered some of the strangest, most controversial hits you've probably forgotten. These 10 songs shaped a generation. But their creators? Most vanished into obscurity, with secrets you never knew. 4 childhood friends from Kansas City formed Bloodstone in 1962, spending over a decade perfecting their sound before Natural High exploded in 1973. The smooth soul ballad hit number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, driven by Charles McCormick's falsetto and the group's tight harmonies. After their brief moment in the spotlight, Bloodstone continued touring and recording well into the 2000s, though they never matched their original success. McCormick remained the group's anchor until his death in 2019, keeping their legacy alive through constant live performances. But here's what radio stations didn't tell you. Natural High was actually banned by several conservative radio stations who believed the title promoted drug use, despite the song being about the euphoria of love. The irony? 3 of the 4 original members struggled with actual substance abuse problems throughout the 1970s, leading to frequent lineup changes and missed opportunities that could have made them superstars instead of one-hit wonders. Clint Holmes recorded Playground in My Mind, almost by accident in 1972 while working as a studio session singer in Los Angeles. The childlike vocals and playful melody caught fire in 1973, reaching number 2 on the charts and staying there for weeks. Holmes, born to a British mother and African-American father, later became a successful Las Vegas entertainer, hosting his own show at Harrah's and eventually becoming one of the Strip's most enduring performers well into his 70s. The song's success nearly destroyed Holmes' career before it began. Record executives wanted him to keep making childish novelty songs, but Holmes refused, calling the pressure artistic suicide. He walked away from a lucrative recording contract rather than become a gimmick, choosing live performance over potential chart success. That decision cost him millions, but saved his dignity. If you're enjoying these untold stories, hit that like button and subscribe for more music history they don't want you to know. Share this with someone who lived through 1973. They'll thank you. Betty Wright was just 18 when she recorded Clean Up Woman in Miami. Just clean it up. Just clean it up. Backed by Casey and the Sunshine Band before they became famous. The song's driving bass line and Wright's powerhouse vocals created an instant classic that peaked at number 6. Wright spent decades as a behind-the-scenes force in R&B, producing and mentoring artists like Joss Stone and Angie Stone. She remained active in music until her death in 2020, though she never again achieved the mainstream success of her teenage breakthrough. Wright's label deliberately marketed her as older than she actually was, because they thought a teenager singing about stealing another woman's man would cause a scandal. The deception worked so well that many people still don't know she was barely out of high school when she recorded one of soul music's most mature-sounding performances. Wright later admitted she had no idea what she was singing about at the time. British actor David Essex stumbled into music success when Rock On became an international hit, rock on, reaching number 5 in America despite being recorded in London with a budget so small they couldn't afford proper studio time. Essex used innovative production techniques, including the distinctive drum sound created by recording in a stairwell. After his brief American success, Essex returned to Britain, where he became a massive star in theater and television, starring in multiple West End productions and maintaining celebrity status for decades. American radio executives initially refused to play Rock On because they couldn't understand Essex's British accent and thought American audiences would reject it. The song only became a hit after a Detroit DJ started playing it as a joke during late-night shifts. The joke became the most requested song on the station, forcing other DJs nationwide to add it to their playlists. Edgar Winter created Frankenstein as an experimental instrumental piece, piecing together different musical sections like Dr. Frankenstein assembled his monster. The albino rocker from Texas recorded the track in 1972, but it didn't become a hit until 1973, when radio DJs started playing the edited version. Winter's theatrical live performances, featuring his keyboard guitar hybrid instrument, made him a concert draw for years afterward. He continued touring and recording, though he never matched the crossover success of his monster creation. Winter originally wanted to call the song the Double Drum Song, but producer Rick Derringer insisted on Frankenstein because of how they constructed it from different parts. The controversy? Winter was furious about the title choice and fought with Derringer for months, believing it made him look like a gimmick artist. He was probably right. The name overshadowed his serious musical abilities and typecast him as a novelty act. Dueling Banjos exploded after appearing in the movie Deliverance, though Eric Weisberg and Steve Mandel recorded their version years earlier. Weisberg, a respected session musician who played on Bob Dylan albums, found himself with an unexpected #2 hit. The success was bittersweet. Weisberg continued as a session player and folk musician until his death in 2020, while Mandel returned to relative obscurity despite their shared Grammy nomination. The song's success triggered a massive lawsuit that lasted for years. The original composer, Arthur Smith, sued everyone involved because Dueling Banjos was actually his composition. Feudin' Banjos from 1955. Warner Brothers, the movie studio, Weisberg and Mandel all faced legal action. Smith eventually won, but the legal battles cost more than the song ever earned, proving that sometimes winning means everyone loses. Time for another reminder. If these stories are blowing your mind, smash that subscribe button and share this video. Your friends need to hear these secrets too. Brazilian keyboardist Eumir Deodato took Richard Strauss's classical piece, Also Sprach Zarathustra, 2001, famous from 2001: A Space Odyssey, and transformed it into a funky jazz fusion masterpiece that hit #2 in 1973. Deodato's arrangement featured electric piano, synthesizers, and a groove that made classical music cool for rock fans. He continued as a successful producer and arranger, working with everyone from Roberta Flack to Bjork, proving his talent extended far beyond one brilliant adaptation. Meanwhile, classical purists attacked Deodato mercilessly, calling his version musical vandalism and demanding radio stations stop playing it. The controversy reached such heights that several symphony orchestras publicly denounced the recording. Deodato responded by releasing an entire album of funk versions of classical pieces, deliberately antagonizing critics who accused him of destroying high culture. Sales proved audiences didn't care about the controversy. Loudon Wainwright III wrote Dead Skunk
Got your dead skunk in the middle of the road
as a throwaway novelty song, never expecting it to become his biggest hit and reach #16. The folk singer-songwriter from New York was already establishing himself in the Greenwich Village scene when this absurd tale of roadkill became a radio favorite. Wainwright continued as a respected singer-songwriter and actor, appearing in films and TV shows while maintaining a cult following, though he grew to hate being known primarily for a song about a deceased animal. Wainwright later revealed he wrote Dead Skunk while high on marijuana, intending it as a joke about the mindless nature of pop music. The irony aided him for decades. His most thoughtful, serious songs were ignored, while his drug-fueled throwaway joke made him famous. He eventually embraced the absurdity, but admitted in interviews that the song's success made him question the intelligence of American audiences. Jerry Rafferty and Joe Egan formed Steelers Wheel as a folk rock duo, but Stuck in the Middle with You became their only major American hit, reaching #6. The song's Dylan-esque sound and cryptic lyrics about music industry pressures resonated with audiences. Rafferty later achieved solo success with Baker Street, while Egan faded from the spotlight. The band broke up acrimoniously in 1975, with legal battles preventing both members from using the Stealers Wheel name for years. The song gained new popularity in 1992 when Quentin Tarantino used it in Reservoir Dogs during the notorious ear-cutting scene. Rafferty was reportedly horrified by the association, feeling his song had been permanently linked to violence. The movie connection introduced the song to a new generation, but Rafferty refused to profit from the association, turning down lucrative licensing deals for other films that wanted to capitalize on the Reservoir Dogs connection. Maine-born Judd Strunk wrote Daisy a Day as a tender ballad about lifelong love, and it became a surprise hit, reaching number 14 in 1973. Strunk, who started as a banjo player and comedian, found unexpected success with this sentimental song that appealed to older audiences. He continued performing and writing, maintaining a regional following in New England until his tragic death in a private plane crash in 1981, cutting short what might have been a longer career in country music. Behind the sweet exterior lay a darker truth. Strunk battled severe depression throughout his life, and Daisy a Day was actually written during one of his darkest periods as an attempt to convince himself that lasting love was possible. Friends later revealed that Strunk never believed the optimistic message of his own song, making his performances painful to watch for those who knew his struggles. The disconnect between the song's hopeful message and Strunk's personal despair haunted him until his passing. These 10 songs from 1973 prove that sometimes the most memorable music comes from the most unexpected places, created by artists who either couldn't or wouldn't repeat their success. Their stories remind us that fame is fleeting, but great songs endure long after their creators have been forgotten. Thanks for taking this trip through 1973's hidden musical history. Subscribe for more untold stories, hit that like button if you learned something new, and share this with fellow music lovers. What other years should we explore? Please let me know in the comments below.